Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan FM. You are joining us live for the Islamic Arts and Heritage show. My name is Shazia Osman and today I am joined by two guests in the studio, Zunaira Salim and Amara Nur Muhammad. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Zunaira is a 21-year-old Leicester-based artist working intuitively across different mediums, depending on what she wishes to convey in her work. She likes painting, fashion, textiles, making sculptures using bound materials, photography and videography. She studied arts and crafts and photography at college and then went on to do 1 year a foundation art diploma at DMU. A little bit of background about Amara. Amara is a self-taught henna artist practicing professionally from 2022. She only uses organic natural henna and is inspired by henna patterns. She continues to explore this skill using acrylics on canvases, envelopes and bookmarks. And let me tell you, they look absolutely gorgeous, mashallah. So, thank you and for giving me a little bit of background information about yourselves. And I'm excited to see where the show goes and to learn a little bit more about your practices. So, I'd like to know a little bit more about yourselves. If you could tell me in your own words about your art practices. I'll start with Zunaira.
Okay, so my art practice includes, obviously, like you kind of touched on, painting. I've been doing a lot of painting these days, exploring sort of different themes. Like, I love nature. Like, I love connecting nature with like the human body and like
and the human experience.
And, like, the human experience. Like, I love taking things out of context. So like zooming in really, really close. So like looking at cells and microscopic imagery, like that sort of stuff really
fascinating.
Yeah.
So there's a scientific aspect to your art as well.
Definitely. Yeah. I love mold. It sounds weird, but I love mold. Like, in my foundation year at DMU, I was really like going deep into like the whole fungus and mold thing, and that was really inspiring me. So just taking these different things like science, nature, space, like all of these things, even aspects of obviously Islam, and just delving into it through different mediums. So like painting, sculptures, photography, even videography, things like that.
Well, I don't know if our listeners know this, but Zunaira won first prize at the Clique exhibition that we had last year in June. And the painting that you submitted was very thought-provoking. And I think a lot of the audience were really quite fascinated by it. Could you tell us a little bit more about that painting?
Yeah, so that painting, honestly, in my head, I was thinking about that concept for a long time before I even like put it on that canvas. So I feel like there was something like festering for so long. But my main inspiration for that painting was like stem cell photography, like plant stem cell photography and like microscopic imagery, and just looking at those like forms and how they like
the organic
the organic forms and things like that. And so I just saw an image and I just went from there, and then I freeformed it and like just
and you painted it using acrylics?
Yeah, so it's all acrylics.
All acrylics. That's amazing, because there seems to be a crossover between your photography and your interest in photography and then your art practice and how you're exploring the two together.
Definitely,
I liked your use of color as well. Could you tell us a little bit more about the colors you chose?
Yeah, so I'm just naturally drawn to color anyway, and I feel like whenever I paint or in my photography, I've noticed, drawn to these 4 or 5 main colors. So blue, purple, green, yellow, and pink. So naturally, those were the colors I gravitated towards. It just sort of happened. I didn't like plan it out beforehand. It just sort of, I was just naturally drawn to those colors, and it just went from there.
Did you use any particular techniques to do that?
So I the techniques that I used is because I was trying to keep it relatively limited, even though it does look very colourful, but there is kind of a limited colour palette in that painting. I tried to not mix the warm and the cool colours together, so to kind of avoid the muddiness that you can get.
Yeah.
So that's what I tried to do, but it was honestly a lot of layering. So a lot of time went into that painting, just sort of like coming back to it and like adding layers, waiting, coming back, adding more layers. It was just a lot of layering,
Amazing. And Amara, you also submitted something to the Clique exhibition last year.
Yeah, I did. So I submitted one of my canvases, which was it was a black background with gold like henna design on it using acrylic paints. Unfortunately, I didn't win a prize from that, but it was so incredible just to have my art up in like a gallery. And
was this the first time you've ever submitted anything to an open call?
Yes,
Both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you find the experience?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so nice to connect with other artists as well. Have a look at the vast range of things from. We were given a small brief of Islamic cultural arts, and the way everyone took that in a completely different way. It was so incredible to see.
Yeah, there was really a wide range of art on display, and it's incredible to see the amount of talent that we have in Leicester, which we can now hone and bring to the forefront and showcase as much as possible.
Definitely,
so tell me what, the particular painting that you submitted, I noticed that you did everything freehand.
Wow.
Do you get a hand cramp?
Honestly, not so much, not as much as you would think. Of course, after a little while it does a bit, but I think I've become a bit more accustomed to it now, and it just flows really nicely now.
It's incredible how henna and henna patterns have a crossover with geometric patterns and Islamic art as well. So we're looking forward to see more of your work. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a henna artist. I do both like natural henna and also, if you've heard of like jaguar henna, which gives like a blue stain. So I've been taking bookings and for weddings and things like that. Alhamdulillah, I'm quite fully booked up for Eid, which is it's a really good time of the year now. But I just love what I do, and I love doing it on other people and like beautifying them and giving some sense of joy. But then also I like translating that into my canvases, and then also this Eid I created some Eid envelopes. So using that acrylic paint again, it's just a really nice way to have it almost like a permanent art instead of a mehndi, which will eventually disappear.
And that's amazing, because if somebody gifts an envelope to someone, they can then cut out that piece and reuse it as an artwork. And it just gives them something to remember it by. So well done.
Thank you.
One of the questions that I wanted to ask each of you is, at what point did you know that you wanted to be an artist?
So I feel like there wasn't like one point where I had like a light bulb moment where I was like, ding, I want to be an artist. I feel like it's just been like a gradual journey through my life. So even when I was younger, when I was 6, 7, I've always been sort of creative. I don't know if you guys remember, you might remember, cause like loom bands. Like that was massive. That was massive. So when that whole thing started, I was going crazy. I was doing some crazy stuff with that. But just throughout my life, I've been always creative, always gravitating more towards creative subjects. So naturally, when I went into college, uni, I did do creative subjects like photography and art. So I just kind of always knew, in a way, especially I guess in college when I started studying the actual subjects. That's when I sort of knew that I really enjoy this and I want to do this like long term.
Amara?
So I think similar to what you said, so from a young age I've been very creative. I think I'm heavily influenced by my sisters as well, because they were very creative. So and they still are. So I think I kind of gravitated towards art a lot in school and things like that. And then I loved like henna and mehndi from a young age. I used to want it up my entire arm. But so I think that really is what drew me towards art and towards Mendi. And I did GCSE art as well, so I think that was a really nice, for the painting side of things, that really encouraged me to do more art and made me like it more.
Okay. And what projects, if any, are you currently both working on? Is there anything in the pipe work?
So I'm currently working on a painting. So these days I've been, well, not just these days, but for a long time, I've been really inspired by trees and just how amazing they are. So I am currently working on a painting that is delving more into like trees and their structures, but also kind of, the painting that I exhibited in the summer, it's sort of incorporating that style within that as well. So it's a new concept that I'm exploring, but I'm doing that. I'm also slowly starting to get into more textiles and fashion sort of things. Okay. Just learning how to sew and things like that. So that's some things I'm working on right now.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you like to do with textiles? Like
at the moment, honestly, I'm just trying to learn
just
the basics.
Exploring,
exploring and just get the basics down.
Okay.
Learning how to use the machine and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because my grandma's a tailor, so she makes Eid and wedding clothes and things like that. So I'm trying to learn from her.
Oh, that's
it's
amazing.
It's really hard. It's really she
I
makes
think
it
it's
look
these
easy.
old skills that we die down, and we need to revive them and make sure that they remain.
Definitely.
And get passed on from and that's the most authentic thing, is when they get passed on from generation to generation, like henna as well. If you learn from your sisters or from your mum or grandma, those are the most authentic skills that you can't learn from any university.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to see what you end up with.
Thank you.
Yeah, me too. So I've of course got some Eid bookings and things coming up, but I would love to do a few more bridal henna designs and things. But then aside from my Mendi, I've also I'm hoping to start a canvas on some kind of an abstract Islamic, like Arabic calligraphy kind of thing. So I think what my idea is to have almost like a nature background, like an abstract nature background with different like acrylic textures and things like that, and then have like a textured Arabic line in the middle with some gold and things like that. So I'm hoping, like I've never done something like that before. So I'm hoping to see where I go with that. And I think it's one of those things where I have to just learn along the way as well. I want to just see where I can go with it.
It's about the journey, isn't it? It's more about the journey itself rather than the destination.
For sure.
And the end result. I mean, although, you may end up with something that's completely not what you thought it would be, but it's what you learned along that journey.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to see what you end up with as well.
Sounds interesting.
It's really interesting that you want to branch out into acrylics and from your henna patterns. With this piece that you're thinking about doing, are you going to be thinking about incorporating any henna patterns in that?
I'm not entirely sure yet. So I think my main plan wasn't to add any henna things in there, because I just wanted to focus on like just a standard painting for a second. But I think that could be an interesting thing to add in like backgrounds or blend it in somewhere. I think that could add like some nice little details, so I might add that on.
Yeah, I find that in order to make paintings your own, they need to reflect a little bit of your own identity or what makes you unique. And that's when the best art comes. Anyway, that's just my own personal perspective.
I agree.
But when I look at so I had a peek at both your Instagram pages and oh my God, I was blown away, literally. So much talent in such young girls. It's just, it's heartwarming to see that at such a young age and so early on in your careers that you're already exhibiting quite a lot of talent, and you can only grow from there inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, so Zunaira, I noticed on your page you did some collage.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, are you referring to like the digital collage?
The digital
yeah,
collage.
Okay, so honestly, those collages were just me messing around on Pinterest when they brought out like the new thing where you can create collages on Pinterest with like any image you want. Honestly, I was just playing around with like that tool, but I'm pretty sure in both of those collages there's women in there wearing like the dresses and things like that. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I love fashion. So I was kind of maybe unintentionally including all of these different like facets of my interest within those collages, but I was just playing around, having fun with it and just seeing where it goes, really. I didn't have like anything in mind.
Particular direction?
Yeah, I didn't really have any particular direction. I was just sort of playing around with it.
Okay. Is that something that you feel you want to explore further on? Or?
Yeah, so I have been doing collages since college. Like I was doing photography and stuff, so I got into making collages, especially surrealism, like collages back in college. So yeah, that's definitely something that I've always been interested in, dabbled in. But yeah, it'd be cool to go deeper into it, maybe using my own photography for the collages as well.
And I know you mentioned found objects within your work. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I started exploring this found object like art when I was doing my foundation art year, and I just love the concept of taking like rubbish or like taking discarded stuff that no one cares about or looks about and just turning it into something new, like renewing it. I love that concept. And yeah, I used to go walking around the streets and like pick up rubbish. I used to look like a crazy person just picking up rubbish, but I used to like make sculptures out of them and just like making shapes and like organic shapes out of them. So
that's really fascinating.
I like doing stuff like that.
Part of my creative practice also incorporates the use of found objects, and at the moment I'm working with eggshells. So it's interesting to see how we can use everyday objects from the natural world and incorporate it within our art practice. And I'm looking forward to see more about that.
Honestly, I think your creativity can bloom when you try and use what you have around you, not necessarily using expensive things and things like that.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be encouraged a little bit more, especially moving towards a more sustainable future. The use of... so tell me, what are your influences? Are you influenced or inspired by any particular artist out there?
Yeah, so I really love Yayoi Kusama. She's like honestly an amazing artist, like how she does those massive large scale like abstract paintings and installations. She's definitely a big influence on me. I also like this artist. You may not have heard of her. She's mainly on Instagram. Her name's Anastasia Trusova. She does sort of like trees and like landscapes, and I got into her when I was like 14, 15, and I honestly got obsessed with her work, and I tried to like kind of mimic her tree painting sort of things when I was younger. But those two artists are definitely some who inspire me a lot, even to this day.
Oh, that's amazing. And Amara, is there anyone in particular that you draw inspiration from?
So I will say that initially when I started henna and stuff, there was a lady by the name of Tabassum who used to come to our house and do a lot of Mendi for weddings and things like that. So I think that's where my love for Mendi started, really. And then if we're talking about like the Arabic calligraphy things, it might sound cliche, but honestly, you are one of my inspirations for it, because there was a girls group that we used to do at the masjid, and we had a little session where we did Arabic calligraphy. And my mum still got, sorry, my mum's got the little canvas that I painted, and you wrote her name on it for me.
Bless.
And I just remember, I remember just finding like Arabic calligraphy so interesting.
Yes.
And of course, it's beautiful. And I think that's probably where my love of like that kind of style came from. There's also a lot of Instagram artists who do these abstract landscape designs, which is kind of where I'm hoping to touch on for this future painting that I'm working on. So
it's really interesting to see the range of talent that's out there. And the thing about Instagram is once you get on it, you're like doom scrolling, aren't you?
It's a rabbit hole.
It's not just me, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not just you.
Okay. Another thing I wrote down, which I wanted to ask you, is about your future aspirations and the trajectory that you want to see yourselves on.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you've kind of like planned for or have in mind as a 5-year goal, 10-year goal, what you'd like to see, where you'd like to see yourself in the future? And I always say aim high. And
is this generally or just like life-wise? Or
a
just
bit
like
of both.
A bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the next 5 years, inshallah, I'm aiming high, like you said. So ideally, I'd love to be abroad, be living somewhere near, like that's in nature, near the ocean, and just making art. Maybe making some of my living through my art, maybe.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, or even, honestly, even if I don't make my living through my art, I'm completely fine with that as well. But just obviously continuing my art practice, developing as an artist, and just being in nature and like
soaking it all in,
being able to go for a swim every day. I love swimming.
Okay.
That's my 5-year plan.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. I can just picture you on a beach somewhere.
Inshallah, yeah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, I feel like everyone just wants to be on the beach for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to take my Mendi a little bit further, as I was touching upon a few more bridal henna. So I'd love to do some brides, well, a few more, and I think I would like to start doing some more paintings. Whether or not I'd want to do that to sell or just for myself, I'm not entirely sure yet. But I think it's one of those things, like, I just want to see where things go. I would definitely like to have art somewhere in my life, in my career, whether or not that's my main thing or if that's like a side business. But I would like to have a bit more of a reason to keep doing art. Because, of course, I would love to do it for myself, but, with day-to-day, sometimes you don't have enough time for that. So I feel like if I am doing it for a purpose, for selling or for a gallery, I think it just gives me something more to strive towards. So I would like to keep that in my life somewhere, definitely.
Amazing. Yeah, I wanted to also ask you, another thing I noticed, Zanera, from your page when I was looking at your page is you talk about death and rebirth.
Yeah.
Can you touch on that for me?
Yeah, so that's something I started thinking about more deeply. I'd say like two years ago. So alhamdulillah, I got the chance to go Umrah 2 years ago. And before I went, I started thinking about these themes, like death is rebirth and things like that. And just that's how I got into looking at mold and fungus and all of these, what people would see as like decaying things. But that's when I started delving more deeper into it. And just to touch on the mold thing a bit more, the reason why I started looking at that is because I believe that encompasses the whole saying death is rebirth. Like mold is something you associate with like something that is dying like a rotting fruit or like, things like that. But the mold is living itself. It's growing.
It's a new organism,
it's a new
isn't
organism,
it?
Yeah. It's life coming from
death. Yes.
Death is rebirth. So that's when I started.
And that's like the full circle.
Exactly. It sounds cliche, but but yeah. So just looking at things like that and
I'm exploring it in different ways.
Exploring it in different ways, yeah. And especially my photography, I was exploring it through that as well, through some of my sculptures as well. But yeah.
So like, your photography that you did for I think it was your final project for DMU.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about how exactly you did that. Was it the use of microscopes or how did you manage to capture those images that you have?
Yeah, so that all started with obviously that concept that I was exploring and all the other things as well, like nature. I also went to the microbiology department at DMU, so I got the chance to actually look into some microscopes and look at different things. I don't know exactly what I was looking at, but it was really cool to see like these microscopic life forms like in a little tiny thing.
Petri dish.
Yeah, like a Petri dish. And so I captured the actual images. Funnily enough, it wasn't from a microscope. It was literally just my normal camera, not my phone. It was like a little Canon, Canon point and shoot camera. And those images, some of them were from sculptures that I had made. So I took photos of the sculptures that I had made. Some of the photos were literally like bubbles in a jar that I took close-up photos of. Like I said, I like taking things out of context, so that was incorporating that in there as well. So those actual initial images that I took, I then edited them on Photoshop, just sort of playing around with the different like filters and like different ways you can manipulate the image on Photoshop. So I was doing that, and then I'd literally just put it in a circular border to make it as if you're looking into a microscope, or I wanted it to be quite ambiguous. I wanted the viewer to be confused. What am I looking at? Am I looking into a microscope? Am I looking at a planet? Like, what am I looking at?
Well, you succeeded in that.
Thank you. So that's how I made those.
It was really intriguing when I was going through your feed and seeing all these, I think it was 9 images, right? How many were 12?
I think it was 12.
12 images. And each of them was similar yet different. And it was really intriguing to take a look at them, and it, like you said, it invites the viewer to have a closer look. Thinking that, what is this exactly that I'm looking at? Like, I want to delve a little bit deeper and find out a little bit more about. So thank you for that. That was it was a really good experience going through your feed.
Thank you.
It's like, oh my God, this girl has like crazy talent.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Amara, I was like also stalking your feed, but what I noticed is that you've developed your own designs of henna, and you had this like a few reels showing that what the client asked for and what I gave them. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so a lot of the time I do like replicate other people's designs. So that's usually when someone will come to me and they ask like, I want this design. And it's also just sometimes you do have like a bit of a mental block. You don't know what to put down. But I feel like even if I divert from the initial pattern, I like having something to start with. And then I kind of take that and then either replicate it fully or I'll like amend it just slightly. But I also do like to do my own designs. But I think when I was starting out especially, it was really hard to do my own designs because I didn't know where to go. So that's why I did like to start with replicating other designs and things. But yeah, I think it's nice to see where my own style comes in sometimes. And over the years, I have managed to develop my own style, which I think it's nice for myself as well to see how I've developed. Because before my designs were not great. If you've seen any of the older
everyone starts somewhere.
Of course, yeah. But yeah,
if I show you my first canvases, you would be like, oh my God, what is this even? But going back to that, you know how you say you have your own style, and that emerges only with practice, and you kind of gravitate towards a particular style, knowing that, oh, this doesn't work for me, I enjoy this more. What particular elements do you like including within your henna patterns?
So I do quite like intricate designs, like really fine details and things. I think that's more the South Asian kind of designs.
Take on it,
I do struggle a little bit more with like the Arabic styles, but which I think are absolutely beautiful. Like I love doing them, but I really struggle to do them, especially from off the top of my head. So more just the intricate flower designs and things is where I specialize.
Amazing. So do you like meet other henna artists, or do you have like a sort of group of people that you network with? So there's especially on Instagram, there's a really nice community
of like for Mehndi artists, like everyone will just help each other and things. And I'm in a couple group chats where there's just a lot of henna artists, and we just discuss things, and it's so nice to just see everyone else's
it's like a community on its own as well. Yes.
And it's really great because they help me when I have a struggle. If I'm like, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know what I should do in this situation, like, can you guys help me? They'll help me out, or vice versa. Like, I'll give them some tips of what I've done before. And I think it's really nice to just have.
I think it'd be great to be part of the Mehndi meet.
Yeah, so I've
you signed up
for the Takliq Mehndi meet. So inshallah, that'll be really great. I'm excited.
For those listeners that don't know, so Takliq is holding a Mehndi meet event on the 6th of April, which is a Sunday, and that is at Studio Name in St. Matthews. You can find out more and book via our Instagram page, Takliq Leicester, TAKHLEEQ Leicester, and the links are in the bio. There's 2 Eventbrite links. There's I think there's 2 events on the same day. So there's the Mehndi meet from 12 till 2, and then from 3 till 5 there's a workshop that's happening. So I think most of the workshop spaces are gone. I think the last I saw. Yeah, but the Mehndi meet is for henna professionals like yourself to network with each other, and I think just to meet and find out what's going on and support each other.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see that happening. And I was so envious. I said, you know what, the clique is doing this for henna artists. The next one has to be for calligraphers. So let's see how we get on with that, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
So that's one of the events that's going to be happening next week, so straight after Eid. I think we've covered a lot today. Another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you feel the art scene is in Leicester? What do you think about it? And what would you like to see emerge in the art scene?
Honestly, I'm quite new to the art scene in Leicester, so I started actively being, you could say, part of the art scene just a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. And I only just recently found out about Studio Nome and Takliq and things like that. I didn't know that there was there was a group of Muslim artists in Leicester. So when
it's fairly new.
Yeah, but when I did find out about it, I was like, wow, this is so amazing. A place where I can actually go and feel welcomed and feel like I belong there. Because I feel like before I found out about Takliq and Studio Nome and things like that, I felt a little bit out of place in the other, you could say mini art communities in Leicester, because often I would be the only Muslim that I'd feel a little bit out of place. But it's really, really nice knowing that you guys are here and there's people who are in the art community who can we can support each other and who can also guide us, because me and Amara were quite obviously new to the art scene.
So we have so the clique has a forum where it's a WhatsApp forum, and we like to welcome artists from a Muslim background to join us on there and have discussions and just be part of a wider community. So if you know any other artists of Muslim heritage, just point them to the Clique Leicester, and then they can request a link to the WhatsApp group and they be added to it. We're looking to grow the group, inshallah, and serve as many Muslim artists within the city as we can. Open those doors, open those conversations, and network, and kind of have a sisterhood and brotherhood going. Yeah, definitely. Within the arts community, specifically for Muslim artist professionals. So what do you think about the art scene, Amara?
I thoroughly enjoyed the gallery that we did. So I would happily have a lot more of those. I think that was such a nice community gathering, and it was really nice to see other artists together. So I feel those kind of moments where we can actually come together are really important. I would love to see more of those. Takliq has been also, it's been really great in, everyone supports each other really well, and follows each other on Instagram and stuff, which is such a big deal nowadays.
Yes,
Social media is such a big thing. But I would love to network more with other artists, and I think it's so great to see other people's art mediums, and I'd love to even just have a chat with them about like where did your art go and things, like learning about scenarios and everything. You wouldn't simply just know that by just looking at it. So it's so nice to have a conversation with people and see like, where did your mind go when you actually created this piece? So
I think having those conversations gives us a wider context to, you know, what we're seeing, rather than taking things at face value.
Yeah, definitely.
So knowing a person's process, what inspires them, what caused them to explore certain subject matter the way they did. So both of you, the crossover here, the thing that makes you both unique but also under the same sort of banner is that you're both inspired by nature. In henna patterns, obviously, there's lots of florals, and in your art, you've got a lot of nature-inspired content coming through. Tell us a little bit more about how you want to further that exploration of natural elements and nature within your work.
So what I'd love, like the way I'd love to push my practice further is definitely using, like how we touched on, found materials. I've started gathering like sticks and things and pieces like that, and potentially creating my own sculptures with actual natural materials and incorporating natural materials within my sculptures, maybe even like, who knows, maybe even my paintings, collages. I also want to go just deeper into like looking at like trees, because I love trees, and connecting trees, like the forms in nature, with other things, like the human body, for example. The forms that you see in trees are in our human, like observable in our human body, like our blood cells, like the shape,
The veins,
thunder,
exactly.
all of these things, rivers. So everything is connected. So I'd love to delve just deeper more into that through just different mediums. I don't want to limit myself to one medium.
It's interesting when you say that, like how there's a connection between elements in nature, natural things, and the human body. And we see this in the Quran as well.
Yes.
When Allah says that, you know, the goodly body is like a tree. Its branches reaching to the sky and its roots going really deep down. So there is that aspect of intertwining our faith within the artistic practice as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And it makes it all the more special, exploring those themes from a different perspective.
Definitely, yeah.
So, it's really nice to see. And
I, of course, love to bring in aspects of nature into the flower designs and things like that. And I think also the aspect of using henna, which is a natural medium, I think it feels so much more organic, and it doesn't feel artificial. And also, like, I like bringing in aspects of like the real nature in the world. It's just so beautiful, and like, of course, Allah's creation is incredible, and to like put that onto someone's hand or onto a painting or something is, I really like that.
it has a deeper meaning.
It does have a deeper meaning, because of course there is like cultural and Islamic heritage to henna, but also in our days how we use it more just to beautify ourselves and use it in an aesthetic purpose. It's nice that it's a natural medium. And it's nice that I can take something which is, it's a dried leaf, and you turn it into a henna paste, and then you can create these incredible designs. I think it's so crazy how much can happen from a small
Speaking
leaf.
about that, like your henna paste, so do you make them yourself?
No, so I don't actually make my own, but I would love to one day do that.
Yes.
I think because at the moment I'm just focusing on my studies, and like I haven't really like left school. Alhamdulillah, I'm in university
It's quite
now,
time
but,
consuming as
it
well,
is,
isn't
so
it?
I think I would love to, once I inshallah graduate and things, I think I would love to try and make my own, and maybe sell it. I don't know where, inshallah, see where it goes, and then of course I can use my own henna. So then it's like everything comes from me, which I feel like will feel so much more important in my designs, because it's like everything's purely come from me.
I feel like that would be pushing your practice even further.
Definitely.
Like, and I feel like it'll be like an experiment. You'd be like a mad professor,
Of course,
like making them.
I love doing experiments and like little things like that. You know, like as a child, like mixing random things and mixing mud together and stuff like that. And so, as an adult, to be able to just make your own little potions, it's so cool.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be super fun.
Yeah.
And with henna pastes and that, it's quite time consuming, because from what I know, you have to make the paste, and then you have to sieve it, and then you have to then make the cones. So it's quite a process in itself. Kudos to all the henna artists that make their own.
Definitely difficult.
So how can people get in touch with you guys if they want to, like, for example, learn more about your practice, or commission an art piece, or do any bookings for your henna?
So people can get in touch with me on my Instagram. My Instagram is Zuni, ZUNI _ the number 0 and then the letter O. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can message me there. I also have a YouTube channel. You guys can follow me. It's the same as my Instagram, ZUNI _ 0 and then the letter O. I've just been starting to delve into videography and exploring that more, so you guys can follow me on there as well.
That's interesting. Tell us a bit more about your videography now. I didn't know about that.
So I started doing videography when I was at DMU for my diploma, the one-year diploma. And so I started looking at, like, trying to see if I could push my ideas as further as I can, trying to incorporate them in different mediums. But what I've been exploring right now is when I do travel, alhamdulillah, I got the chance to travel quite a bit last year, so I try and take videos of just like things that I see, zooming into things. As you know, I love taking things out of context and just blending all of these videos that I capture to make, like, to capture the essence of a place. That's what I want to try and do in my videos. Like, for example, if I go to Morocco, I want to try and capture the essence of Morocco through the videos that I take, or like have a particular theme that I want to explore in that video. So it's a bit new to me, so I'm still exploring it, still trying to develop my style. But if you guys want to watch the space, you can do it on my YouTube channel.
That's amazing. Well, I'll definitely be taking a look at that.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
So you can find me on Instagram as well. So my account is Mendi by Amara. So it's MEHNDI by BY dot Amara, AMMARA. So all my content is on there. My henna artwork that I've done before, my paintings and everything are on there. So that's somewhere where you can connect with me and make some bookings. Even just give a follow, like have a look through all my feed. I think it's just nice to look at as well.
That's great. And you mentioned that you're quite fully booked up for Eid coming up. So if anybody still wants to book in, just like get in there.
I've got a couple slots left if you want to squeeze in there.
And you mentioned that you do the Eid cards and gifting. So if anybody does want anything that's henna inspired to give as gifts.
I've got henna canvases and things as well that I've been selling. So
they make great
nice
gifts. So you girls ready for Eid?
As ready as I can be.
Alhamdulillah. The month has gone by really quickly, hasn't it?
I want to enjoy these last few days of Ramadan if I can. I don't want to think too much. Like, of course, we're all looking forward to Eid, but I want to also grab onto the last few days of Ramadan.
And make the most of it. Yeah, that's the same feeling here. It's just like yeah. But thanks anyway for coming in, both of you, and this was a lovely talk.
Thank
It
you
was
so much
amazing.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.